We got a great episode for you today with the great Tim Dillon there from the beginning to the end. We talk about Hollywood. We talk about the Hamptons versus Beverly Hills. And we want to tell you an important thing about some bonus content.
Go to patreon.com/historyhyenas. That is where the exclusive bonus content lives for the show. That is also where the community of the show lives and thrives. And it's probably the best place to be. Now enjoy Timmy D. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of History Hyenas. Today we got a goodie. I'm Chris Distefano. With me, as always, Yannis P. We got a goodie. It's about the Hamptons versus Beverly Hills, and we had to bring in the expert, our good friend of the show, Mr. Tim Dillon.
And I'll say he will be here for the entire episode this time. It's not just Tim Dillon at the end. It's Tim Dillon from the beginning to the end.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Thank you very much to have me in here for this battle of the white Jews versus the Aladdin Jews.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's what it really is.
So it's really Semitic versus European Jews.
It's Sephardic Jews, the Aladdin types, the one that looks like Muslims, so you get confused.
Well, I call them the Puerto Rican Jews.
That's correct.
Because they're hot.
They're Persian. So when you talk about the Israel thing, you don't know what to say because they look fully Muslim, but they're not.
So you're saying the Sephardic ones in
Beverly Hills.
Those are more of the boots on the ground Mossad, and then you got
the
Ashkenazis are more the data Mossad.
They're like they're super pale, and then they put their sunscreen on their kids in clumps, so it's weird. Right. I don't know why they don't rub it in their face.
Yeah.
So like an Ashkenaz face is like an Ari Shafir. He's an Ashkenaz face.
He's kind of weirdly tan and Sephardic. He like splits the difference.
I think his parents were like an anti-Semitic Nazi caricature.
Got it.
Yeah. He's the happy merchant meme.
Yeah.
Now, which one, if you could only pick one right now, which one would you choose to live in?
I go with a Persian because they're loud. They live out loud. They drive really crazy cars.
Right.
Everything's bright colors. I find that interesting. It's fun. It feels like you've gone on vacation, but you haven't.
Right.
I would choose them, even though people do loathe them and find their behavior grotesque. I like it, which is why I wear these sunglasses.
Yeah.
I really believe that they figured it out. Being rich is about wearing silly things and being loud, and the dignity of trying to be like an understated, waspy person is a complete waste of your life. You should be gross and rub what you have in other people's faces and make them feel bad. And that's what I like about the Persian Jews versus the Ashkenazis, who are a little bit more
Wasp-like.
They're a little bit more wasp-like.
Right. Got it.
So I'm on a real run. Candace Owens and now this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm on a real run this week. I better next week I'm gonna have Barry Weiss and Rabbi Shmuley.
Yeah, the Jews have been in the cultural conversation very much recently.
They're back, baby.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Why are we so focused on Israel?
Because they're killing people every day on TikTok.
They've got out of control. Like India, Pakistan is also
doing
popping
numbers.
off.
Have you ever tried to do more numbers on TikTok than a video from Gaza?
No, we're
Good
actually
luck.
working on a new web series called War Footage. We think it's number one.
I may just put my dates at the end of one of these drone strikes.
Seriously, why not?
Yeah.
It's doing numbers big
numbers.
Yeah, big.
Yeah, because we were looking yesterday. We were watching all the India Pakistan stuff, and that's just a little blip in the news.
They're getting it going too.
They're getting it going.
They're getting it going. Yeah, they're getting it going. They're getting into it. They're fighting over Kashmir.
Pakistan has already said, we have nukes, and they're for India only.
Yeah.
So they're ready to go.
I like that.
Yeah.
That sounds
You
fun
want to keep it localized.
They said we're not
local.
They actually said we don't have the capability to send this nuke any further than India. So we designed it for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what they said. So they basically told the Western countries, you don't have to worry about this. We can't get to you.
And all we can say about that is the two-state solution over there looks like it works.
Yeah.
They're doing real good with that two-state solution.
Yeah, that doesn't work. And what can you do, man?
Yeah.
I mean, what can you do? So you're saying...
And they're the same people, just different religion. Yeah.
So you're saying in the beginning, you're saying if you had to only choose one, weather excluded, you would choose the Hamptons over Beverly Hills.
Well, the Beverly Hills in its current iteration only kind of became that after the fall of the Shah, when all these Iranians came to Los Angeles. And
Hey, Persians. You never call them Iranian. They like to be called Persian.
Is that a fact?
Is that true?
Yeah. Oh, they love. It's got to be Persian.
Yeah, but they come from Iran.
I know, but they hate that. They say they correct you and they go, "I'm Persian."
But what is Persia though? Because is Persia more than just Iran? Is that what it is?
It just is more for them. It's more. It has more cachet.
Okay.
It's like I'm Persian. They
But
always
the Persia
correct
is
you.
not real anymore.
Exactly. That's
Right,
what's
it's like
funny
Narnia.
about it. That's what
I gotta say, and I've been saying it from the beginning. I've been saying this for years, but I love Persian women. To me, are actually
beautiful.
number one because they look like Puerto Ricans without the
The
problems.
food is great.
Yeah.
Like this, I love deli food here, which
Sure.
is like great. You get, the deli, you get lox, you get bagels, you get latkes, you get all this shit, a Reuben sandwich. But like the Persian food in LA is really cool because it's like more Mediterranean, Middle Eastern type food. So it's just kind of different.
Yeah.
Right.
It's nice.
Get some hummus.
You get all that.
Pita.
Yeah.
Little hummus,
Yeah,
little
that-
baba ganoush.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's very close to Greek. You're all kind of the same. Now, I know you don't like it, but
Well,
aren't
no,
you all kind of the same Monkeys?
a little bit, but
They are.
Right?
They are.
yeah, but they
You're
kick,
swarthy monkeys.
what you're saying is they're Sandra D's.
Yes.
in our parlance.
You are, yeah.
But yeah, for us, they kind of kick the sand in our face.
Ooh.
We're not really part of that.
I got you.
They kick the sand.
Because you guys in the Turks is no good.
the Turkic people, yeah.
No.
They had a good run.
They had a
Palestine was theirs for a while.
No, no. Greek people feel like they have it worse than black people in this country because their slavery was more recently by the Turks.
Right. Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
just what it is.
yeah,
So you just
right.
I've had to deal with that.
Right. And and my response to that has always been the same thing. It's mozzarella sticks, please.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and make it a deluxe. Yeah. You don't even have to ask.
Yeah, I mean, the Iranians calling themselves Persians is like Greeks having pride about ancient Greece.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore.
So remember that show, Beverly Hills 90210? Because it's interesting. You didn't see a Persian.
right.
No.
So it was, now that was, they kind of whitewashed it a bit because they were living there. But now it's really become the epicenter outside of Great Neck, Long Island, of the biggest community of Persian Jews in outside of the country that shall not be named.
Right.
And that's a lot of the culture of Beverly Hills centers around that.
Right.
Right. So that's
Like they have names like, I don't know, Fahamian or whatever, like names that are like Persian-y.
Right.
yeah, and they when I drove through Beverly Hills with you once, you had a nice observation when you said a lot of people will try to, especially with the economy where it is, they'll try to hide the wealth. The Persians will not. They'll put the mansion right there, big lights, look at me.
There's something about the immigrant experience of coming to another country and dominating.
Right.
And showing that. Whereas I think people that grew up in America or their family's been here for generations and generations try to conceal a little bit of their wealth. Whereas I think if you showed up here a few generations ago and you're really killing it, as no Irish people are, like the Persians, they show it. They came over with the rugs. They got the rug stores.
Yeah.
And they're doing very well. And some of them got into the television and film industry. And they became agents and managers, and they work in the industry to some extent, production companies and studio and whatever.
Yeah.
But they also do a lot of, and I mean, it sounds like a joke, but like it's the best rugs in the world.
Yeah.
That
Persian
section
rugs.
in LA are the best rugs you'll ever find. They ship them all over the country. They're in Aspen, they're in New York, they're everywhere. They ship these crazy rugs all over the country. They do a ton of business with that, fabrics, clothing, things like that, all of that.
And they have infinity money. My friend is a security guard at one of the side jobs he does is he guards a painting in a Persian person's house that's never there. He's there maybe 2 weeks a year. It's a townhouse, 2 townhouses combined into one in Midtown. And he said all his job is he stands in front of this one painting and there's 3 or 4 of the security guards that stand in front of those. And he said to the boss, who's also Persian, said, like it's crazy, like how much money you guys spend. Like you could just have one guy do it. And he said the guy's response was, just stand in front of the painting and keep getting paid.
Right. Yeah.
They don't care about, you're wasting money. Because then my friend's starting to bring up, but like there's it's crazy how there's like a hunger crisis in this country and then there's this money. And they're like, don't say anything again. Just stand in front of the painting and you keep getting paid.
What's fun about Beverly Hills is that it is silly.
Right.
And it's all the houses look like cheesecake factories. Some of them are beautiful, Spanish style, whatever. Right. But a lot of them are very over the top, gaudy, opulent, little mini fortresses. And they line these streets. And the Beverly Flats is this area where the streets are lined with palm trees.
That's the
and all that
really
stuff.
fancy part of Beverly Hills.
Well, then there's the hills, which are the compounds, which you can't really see. But then the flats are like houses anywhere from $10 to $30 million. They're just line regular streets, and they're smack dab in the middle of LA. It's some of the most expensive real estate in the world, and then you can literally walk from that area into Beverly Hills, which is what I love about it, because it gives you the feeling like you're in New York, because Beverly Hills is a mini city,
right?
So it has its own police force. They have a 2-minute response time. They're there. They will show up.
Right.
The LAPD has a 45-minute response time if they come.
Right.
Beverly Hills has its own city council that does not necessarily go along with the city council of Los Angeles. There was, for example, Beverly Hills, when there was a mask and a vax mandate to get into restaurants, they did not have it in Beverly Hills.
So in other words, Beverly Hills is in the geographical city of LA, but it's not really a part of LA from the government point of view. They have their own little ecosystem.
It's part of the LA County.
It's like the Vatican.
That's right.
In a way.
Yeah.
It's part of the LA County.
Just to scroll down a
Do
little.
you think West Hollywood knows that it's just a favela of Beverly Hills?
Yeah.
Beverly Hills probably looks at West Hollywood like a favela.
I think West Hollywood is where you would go to just get your dick sucked.
Yeah.
Right, it's what it is.
Right.
Which a lot of these probably Shahs do. They go out a little bit, go down a little Sunset, and they just get a little dick suck, come right back.
It's actually not gay. Yeah. It's actually not gay.
It's called owning a company.
It's called having a friend.
Yes, it's what it is. So the origins, Beverly Hills started out as ranch land, 1800s, lima bean farmers owned by Mexican ranchers and American settlers. And then there was a water drought. Then the residential community called Beverly Hills came. Now, the early fame of this is interesting, that Beverly Hills Hotel.
It's the first building.
First building ever there. Charlie Chaplin lived there. 1920s stars. Douglas Fairbanks, Mary Pickford. I've never heard of. Have you ever heard of these people? I've only ever heard of Charlie Chaplin.
I've heard of Chaplin. I've heard of Fairbanks. I haven't heard of Pickford.
Right. It is interesting how like people are just major celebrities and then 100 years go by and that's it. It's over.
Now it's for Little Mo.
Right.
Yeah.
Little Mo.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, Tim Dillon and I are big fans.
I love
him.
Little Mo.
I love Little Mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Little Mo.
Yeah, and I love
my friends love him. We grew up in Long Island.
The owner of this company was like, hey, a murderer from jail called me to vouch for
And
Little Mo.
we share my wife, Tracy Carnazza. As well. So
Yeah.
that's good. When me, Tracy, Little Mo walk to a restaurant, they actually evict all the other people.
Yeah.
And they say, call in these chefs from the home. Let's go.
Yeah, he goes, I love how the owner of this company, who's overweight man, goes, oh, now I got to worry about a guy trying to kill me who's one of Little Mo's friends. I said, you should worry about Salami trying to kill you.
Right.
Not Little Mo, not the guy who's in prison for life.
It's the charcuterie board
Yes.
coming for you.
Yes. So Beverly Hills, what I always like a city with a mafia connection. Bugsy Siegel, the infamous Jewish mobster. What people have to understand is back in the day, everyone talks about romanticize the Italian mafia.
Right.
The Jewish mafia, very, very, very powerful, would kill people.
Right.
Were the same. Bugsy Siegel was like a John Gotti.
Right.
Same thing. And these guys were Beverly Hills. So if you want mafia, you think, oh, but the Hamptons are in New York. No, more mafia here in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, well, back in the day, they were really running more of the entertainment business, right? So there were, if they got behind somebody and they wanted them in a film,
right?
It was like they're going to break someone's legs until that person's in the film.
That's just how it was.
That's just how it was.
Yeah. So back then, you think nepotism and connections was even more powerful than Hollywood.
It was a huge deal. So
Right.
you had like this alliance between mobsters, gangsters, the heads of studios, talent agencies, and that's how that whole business formed.
Yeah, now it's just, can you contact Mr. Beast or not?
Right.
If Mr. Beast reads your DMs, you're in.
Now it's like one of those things where it's just a big store.
Right.
It's like a big Walmart and everybody's just wandering around, and then you pick something up, you go, biracial, 24, mother died. You put it back. You just walk down, blonde, big tits, likes Jesus. That might be in this year, and you throw it in the thing.
Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know. It's whatever works.
It's all crapshoot.
Just a big store.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's a very, very, very good way to say it. And so Beverly Hills, they had in 1985 the Playmate Mansion murder, which I didn't know anything about this. Dorothy Stratton's tragic death shocked Beverly Hills. She was murdered by her ex-husband in West LA, but her ties to Beverly Hills through Hugh Hefner's parties exposed the dark side of the glamorous life. So Hugh Hefner, by the way, was doing the original P. Diddy
Yeah.
white parties years before.
For sure.
Diddy. And we're going to get to the Diddy white parties because that's big in the Hamptons. If you want that, you go to the Hamptons.
Yeah.
That's right.
But a 1980s Hugh Hefner, I would argue those are the parties that we probably all would have loved to be at.
Well, it took decades for the law to catch up, to climb those hills. It's very hard for the police to get up those hills.
Yeah, and when they got up there, they got laid.
Yeah.
So that's
Right.
the other
That's-
problem.
Is there an investor's crime? Officer, you want an investor's crime? You want to get your dick sucked? Come on.
Well, that's the thing. It's like sexual currency in that town. The town was run for many years. I don't know. I don't even know what runs it now, to be quite honest. I think it's a vassal state of China.
Right.
From the real estate perspective, it's just, 50 to 70% of people buying these big homes are Chinese people. But it was run as sexual currency for a very long time. So directors and studio heads and people like that wanted to have sex with starlets, and then those people ended up getting super famous.
Yeah.
And it's just what it is. Like Beverly Hills, water short is drama. Everyone else, the California was being set on fire, but billionaires were secretly watering their lawns at night. And that's just fine.
That's just what it is.
That's just what it is. People complain about that, but it's like, what do you want? I thought this was capitalism.
Power and money are there for a reason. And, people, you want to get to that point to water your lawn. And by the way, if all they're doing is watering their lawn, be thankful.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. I mean, if they're
Putin's got a nice lawn.
yeah, he's got a great.
I've never
lawn.
been, not against going,
Right.
but
If that's your only
yeah.
complaint, that's good.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So a guy like Putin comes to the United States, he has a chance to go to the Hamptons full time or Beverly Hills. They're going to Beverly Hills.
No. Vladimir Putin has no interest in California, I think. I think he likes the East Coast. I think he's
more of an East Coast
The
guy.
fun of his
Yeah.
life was fighting the CIA and the KGB. You saw it in the Tucker Carlson interview. He cracks a slight smile. He goes, there are enemies, of course, but
Yeah.
that was when it was fun. It's not really fun in the castle all alone running Russia.
No.
Right.
Thinking about, we got to kill this one, we got to do this. And all these oligarchs are always fighting, and you have to go, Dmitry, can Oleg have a little bit of this?
Right.
And he's mediating all these fights. He remembers as a young man,
Yeah.
and he cracks a little smile when he's talking to Tucker, and he goes, you wanted to get into the CIA, but they didn't let you in. And he's kind of teasing Tucker a little bit.
Yeah.
He goes, we know them, of course. He goes, they were our enemies. But so I think Vladimir Putin.
But he gives them respect.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, well, it's two great tennis players.
Yeah.
And so I think he's very much the East Coast. He'd be very fascinated by Yale and Harvard, all these places where all the fun happened. It'd be nice for him to see LA, but I don't think that's where his heart is.
Doesn't care.
He's like a comic, an arena comic who's reminiscent about the
Yes.
road. Yeah,
He's
it
like,
was fun.
remember when we did the funny bone?
Yeah, well, that's what it was really fun.
We had that wacky opener we poisoned.
Yeah. So he kind of misses those good old days a little
think
bit.
he does.
Well, I got to be honest with you. The Hamptons, because now we'll get into the Hamptons. The Hamptons, the East Coast version of Beverly Hills. This is where my speed, again, original 13 colonies, we're all New Yorkers in here. I like the Hamptons. Started out as a farming, fishing village, English colonist. When I hear English colonist, I'm in. I do feel I'm, in a past life, was more of an English colonist than anything.
I want to ask a straight question. Hamptons, Beverly Hills, which one is it easier to get away with having sex with an underage person who dies of a drug overdose?
Both.
Which one's going to hide?
Both
Equally.
Both.
Right.
Equally. You don't think the Hamptons more because it's more of a seasonal retreat?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
You didn't think about that.
It is. I think
Because when the winter comes, everyone just ignores it.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
I think it really depends on who happens to do it.
Right.
I mean, there's a
Look at
lot
Timberlake.
of
He got-
a lot of guys in the Hamptons that were very good friends with Jeffrey Epstein, like best friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
They called him Jeffrey. They didn't call him Jeffrey Epstein.
They were good friends, and they were at those parties and stuff, and they're still in their homes in the Hamptons and will not be going to jail.
Right.
You know what? I was telling Yannis yesterday, I had an Indian cab driver, like a guy from India, who drove me the other day, and we were talking, and he was telling me about how he cheats on his wife and all that. And it was very interesting. But then one thing he said, he goes, you know what your guys' difference is? The main difference between India and the United States is your rich people are scared of going to jail. In India, if you have money, you don't go to jail. You could do anything. You do not go to prison. Prison is for poor people. He was like, in the United States, you're really, really wealthy. He was like, if Harvey Weinstein was alive in India, he would never go to jail. He would just pay it off. Now, I'm not saying good or bad, but it is just what it is.
That's a very, very recent phenomenon, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't used to really.
So that's why I was bringing that up to say you think a lot. You still think there's a way for the real Hamptons elite to escape prison?
Most people escape prison. The response to that guy is that we choose one person to go down.
Got it.
The Sacklers are bad. They did the OxyContin. Okay, but what about all the other people? No, it's the Sacklers. It's Harvey Weinstein. Okay, but wasn't he part of his system? Shh, it's Jeffrey Epstein. So we always choose one person.
It's like a sacrifice so we can all live.
Yeah, and I think the ruling class is okay with that.
Right.
They're
like
okay
Derek Chauvin.
Yeah.
He was chosen.
He was.
Well, I mean, but he put his neck on.
No, he
he
did,
did
but he
bad
was
thing.
part of a bigger system where that was happening a lot, and so you made a big deal out of
You
one.
made a big deal out of one guy. I think that's what happens often.
Yeah.
And I think that people are okay with that because it's a lotto system and people tend to think that it won't be them.
Right.
Got it.
Now,
Yeah, it's a
who are
numbers
those people
game.
who are doing the choosing? Are those the understated?
I just think it becomes, it's a thing where it's like, it's the way I think about it, the way it's been explained to me is it's like a dam. So you have a dam and then, eventually a dam will break.
Right.
Right? So Bill Clinton for
And you
years,
don't want the water getting into your foyer.
right, years and years and years, Bill Clinton's not being great with chicks.
Right.
Right.
He's flagrant about it, right? He's running around. But then he's just getting ahead in the Oval Office from
Right.
like there's always this
do that.
blatant thing where it's like, Weinstein's in the middle of Me Too. And it's just people are getting taken down left and right, and he's the biggest fish at the biggest company.
Right.
And he has the most power, and he becomes the biggest target. Whereas it's like Epstein's protected for years and years and years. Underage, gets a massage, goes to
all known
Club
about.
Fed. It's all known
He got
about.
indicted in Florida.
Right.
And he got convicted in Florida.
But then eventually what happens is enough journalists start sniffing around, enough people start having, the internet connects all these different victims, and then it basically becomes this inevitability that something's going to happen. From that moment on, you kind of have to control how it happens. It's like a controlled demolition. So you move all these cases to the Southern District of New York, where there's political power players that are playing ball because they want futures in politics. And you go, we're going to do an Epstein or a Ghislaine Maxwell trial, but they ain't getting on the stand.
yeah.
No.
They're not getting on the stand. And we're only going to look at a few years, and we're going to bring a few victims up, and they're going to say certain things, and then we're going to convict these people, but we're not going to have a tell-all in the court. And it's not going to be this media frenzy of naming every billionaire and every world leader. We're not doing that. We're going to look at a very specific thing to convict them and then move it on. That's why all these cases go through the Southern District of New York, because they're political operatives at the Justice Department who will play ball.
What now? Virginia Guffrey, she just died of suicide. You believe it? I don't know if you discussed it already on the show.
She got hit by a car.
No.
And then killed
her liver
herself.
was given out, but then I think she was getting better, but then I think she offed herself.
She offed herself, but she had said 6 months ago to a year ago, if you ever find me committing suicide, just know I did. That's not true.
Well, listen.
But what do we think?
It's funner to think that there's something behind it, so I'm going with that.
I don't know.
We don't know.
Here's what I'll tell you. I don't know what she had left to say that she hadn't said.
Right.
So there's no reason to kill her at this point.
Maybe there was. I don't know. That's the internal. They will kill people. Here's the thing. If you're having sex with people that are underage and your entire legacy, your family, you have to divest from your company, you're facing legal repercussions. Your children's children will read about this. The name of your family is blackened forever. You will kill someone. Hey, just what it is. It's what it is. You'll kill someone.
Right.
Do I know if they killed her? No. But these people that are facing that type of downfall
They'll kill you.
would kill you. Then
Sure.
would they strangle you themselves? No. Would they call a guy who knows a guy?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they would be above that if the other side of it was like, again, your children's children are going to read about that you're a disgrace.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a good point. Listen,
What makes the Hamptons different from Beverly Hills is that the Hamptons, like you said, it's seasonal. It's the summer. It's predominantly finance. It's not entertainment.
Yes.
It's financial people that from Manhattan. That in the 60s, it was guys like Jackson Pollock and artists and stuff like that. They're all gone. It's predominantly all finance people. It's not that many celebrities. There are a few celebrities for sure, but it's primarily the finance community, hedge funds, private equity companies, things like that. And for a long time, Hamptons was very waspy. And you had things like the Southampton Bathing Corp, where it's 800 of the wealthiest families, with pedigrees that were largely white and Christian.
no Jews, no Catholics.
No Jews,
they weren't
no
allowed
Catholics.
them in. Yeah.
Like heaven, actually. But no, But then they started Southampton, Bath, and Tennis for the Jews. And the Jews have kind of taken over. The WASPs have fallen. The story of the Hamptons is actually the story of how the WASPs lost the country to Jews, Asians, and Arabs.
There we go.
That's the story.
The insight.
That's
That's
the
the
story.
story.
That's the real
That's
story.
the story.
It's what it is, and we're going to tell that story right after this break.
That's
Okay, now
really,
we're back. Yeah,
So
that's the story.
That's what's going on. And you just have to either accept it, and you have to have radical acceptance about it.
And here's how it happened.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you exactly how it happened.
That's why you're here.
Yeah.
The WASPs became obsessed with clubs that were meaningless.
Right.
They
The
set up all these,
Montauk Club.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Metropolitan Club in Manhattan. It's a bathing corp in Southampton. They set up all these little clubs where they would play their fucking wash and all this stuff.
Right.
They have the Polo Cup and all this crap. And what happened, and they lived off the largesse of their families that made a lot of money in the traditional banking system and oil and things like that. And they lived off these great fortunes, and a lot of them had summer houses in Maine or Rhode Island or the Hamptons or Nantucket, whatever. Then what happened was Jewish people, Chinese people, Arab people were more in the emerging industries, things like hedge funds, private equity, the emerging market countries. They were more global in reach. They were doing business with people all over the world. And the WASP elite, because they became so obsessed with these co-ops where they live with their friends and work with their friends and do business with their friends, their power and influence started to shrink and their fortunes started to shrink as well. And then you had... Now there's very few WASPs on Wall Street. It's predominantly Jewish people. It's Asian people. Look at countries like Dubai, Qatar. All these countries are coming up. They're hosting major events. You know, Dubai's making a big push to be the center of global wealth, whereas the WASPs have retreated to a few places. Right. Sea Island, Georgia, Maine, all these places. They fully retreated. And they've given up a lot of cultural capital because, again, it all got very incestuous. Many of them developed drinking problems, interestingly enough. It became very incestuous and very, like, status obsessed. But status, they divorced it from money. So they'd say, fuck you to the billionaires if the billionaires didn't go to the right schools and have the right friends. Well, guess what those billionaires did? They made friends with the other billionaires, and now the WASPs are done.
Yeah, the real Achilles heel of the WASP is their innate disgust for all people who aren't WASPs.
Right.
That's what Yannis took me to a restaurant once, because Yannis lives in a Waspy area.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he took me to a restaurant once, and it was a terrible restaurant.
Oh, it was bad.
It was terrible.
Waspy.
It was an insult.
Yeah.
And actually, but I was fun, and I like him, and his family's great, and we had a great time. And then we thought
But
about
you felt insulted by where I took you. Yeah.
It's disgusting. But they had they had the pewter cups, and it was very tavern, it was very white. And then I said, you need Jews and Italians in an area to complain because WASPs will never complain about the food. They don't want to look the waiter in the eye. So the WASPs feel so above everything, they will not complain and talk to a working class person. Whereas an Italian or a Jew or someone like my mother who's Irish but learned from Italians and Jews will grab someone and go, hey man, this sucks.
Right.
But WASPs will never do that. They just eat very bland food in these country clubs as long as they don't have to be around anyone that's not like them.
That was the big flaw of the Nazis, is that they need Jews. You need Jews to complain to keep the standards up. You need that annoying
that
kind of...
and the genocide were the flaws.
Right, yeah.
That too.
Those two.
A small part of it, but yes.
Yes. Well, you know,
I get it.
One's worse than the other, and you pick which one that is.
Yeah.
So that's the story. The Hamptons, when you walk by the Southampton Bathing Corp, you see this little group of WASPs, and they're sitting there, and they have their white linens, and they sit there on the beach, and they have their kids and whatever. But it's this tiny little stretch of beach, and it's really all they have. Now, obviously, they still have a lot of money, but they've been completely dominated and pushed out by other groups.
So do you, and
the character of America is a WASP character. Here's what I mean by that. Everyone in America becomes a WASP. I don't care what color you are, what creed or what race you are. The WASP character, the kind of stoic, you know, kind of Calvinist. No, it's not an Irish Italian. This is not an Irish Italian country.
Don't forget, this is a British puritanical society.
That's right.
So
it's
that's
not
what
a
they are.
country of screaming and wailing and funerals and crying and dancing and all that stuff. Like, yes, we have all of these.
Right. You go to
groups
Sunset
here.
Park, you see that, but not overall.
But yeah, America's founded. It's a very Germanic, industrious spirit of like private property. keep to yourself, you do your own thing. And all those things, I think, are the framework for America, and that's why it's so successful. I think if you look at Ireland and Italy, two countries where Ireland, they can't build a building over 3 stories, and Italy, everyone lives with their family until they're 45 years old.
Yeah.
And I mean, Greece, they cannot even manage the budget of the country.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't, right? So those countries are not, and it's not racial. It's not a racial thing. It's just the culture of all of those places. America's a very Germanic, kind of industrious Protestant culture of like independence, autonomy, agency, doing things on your own, not having a massive church run everything, not living in the history of the past, kind of embracing the future. And that's the very WASP quote. And they left us that, but they themselves as a group are dying and dead.
So why are we resisting the future with China? Why don't we just say, hey, let's go from a mutually exclusive victory to more of an Olympic system where there's a gold, there's a silver, and a bronze.
Yeah.
They're going to get the gold, we get the silver, and then Germany gets the bronze.
It's not in our nature to get a silver. It's in our nature very much like a Tanya Harding.
We are Tanya Harding them, yes.
Hit them with the bat.
Yeah.
We got to pay the fat guy to hit them with the bat.
Yeah.
At practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
Right.
We are Tanya Harding.
We are Tanya
China right now. We're trying to Tanya Harding.
Yeah. What's the guy's name who hit with the bat? He's got a wild name, like Richard Gabagooli. What's that guy's name?
What was his name? He was a big fat guy.
Whoever that guy is, that's the new name of our country.
That guy.
Yeah. You can understand.
Google that. Who's the guy with the bat who hit Tanya Harding? That should be the United States of that.
That's what we are right now with these tariffs. It's a Tanya Harding tariff.
Yeah. Here we go.
You're not
Jeff Gillooly.
Yeah.
So
Jeff Gillooly.
We're basically saying to China, if you're going to win this, it's going to be with one knee.
Yeah, it's the United States of Gillooly.
And here's the other thing. Jeff Gillooly, you got to remember, Nancy Kerrigan didn't even win.
No.
Right.
And here's our country. Here's who we are in a nutshell. Jeff Gillooly hits Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah.
She loses the bronze. She loses the medal.
Yeah.
Lose the whole thing. Tanya Harding's vilified, goes to prison. Short 15 years later, she's getting standing ovation at the Oscars because they did a movie about her.
That's right.
So that's who we are as a country.
Of course.
And that's who we should be, and that's why we win.
And here's the deal. People understood it. That those good moral celebrities understood. All this woman really did was hire a guy to attack her opponent and potentially give her a life-changing injury that would force her out of the sport forever so that she could win. That's why those moral people who hate Donald Trump but love morality stood up and clapped for a woman who hired someone to try to basically paralyze the girl who was
because they
going to
looked
beat her.
in the mirror and they said, "Oh, that's me."
I would do that too.
Yeah. And by any means necessary, we will win.
Make no mistake, that room hates Donald Trump because they are not Donald Trump.
That's the only
That is
reason
why they hate Donald Trump.
Because he says it, they don't say
There's a lot of principled reasons to not like Donald Trump. The people in that room have absolutely none of them.
Right.
Do you think that the Beverly Hills and the Hamptons will be overrun by Chinese?
Yes. In California, I have friends that are real estate agents. 50 to 70% of people that are showing the showings in these high-end homes are Chinese people. Cities like New York and California, and Los Angeles and even Miami and places like that are predominantly right now being run on foreign capital. They're global cities fully that you can't divest from that. You know, if you were to ban foreign ownership of these places, you would see the value slide. Now, that would be good if you wanted to buy a home, and I appreciate and understand that. It would be bad for the people whose 401ks are invested in these companies with a BlackRock or a Vanguard or State Street or anything like that, who are invested and their retirements are indexed to how much real estate these companies own and how much money comes in and all this stuff.
It's like you and I always talk about. One way or another, you're going to pay taxes here. It's like when we talk about real estate taxes in a certain town, you're like, that's too much. You're like, well, you're going to get hit either way. So same thing as this. You can remove the foreign investment, but either your 401k goes down or your property value goes down.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The people, and I totally understand the people that aren't invested in the market who want lower cost of living, and I appreciate that and understand it. They've set the system up so that everybody is integrated on some level so that it's much easier said than done to say, I want to just take a hatchet to it. You can say that. You can say you want to bring back American jobs, and I would agree with you. But when those tariffs comes in and the prices spike dramatically, that period is going to be very difficult for people that can't afford. Now, in the long run, will it be worth it? I don't know, and no one knows. But the impulse, I understand the impulse of going like we've hollowed out the manufacturing base, but then that group of people is still going to suffer under the very high prices.
So was it a good idea to have a tariff war with 1 billion ninjas? Who's willing to suffer more?
I think that their standard of living can drop precipitously in a way that ours can't. I think they have that advantage. I also think, though, that forcing countries to the negotiating table, some of Trump's advantage is that he does behave erratically. And I think sometimes that erratic behavior can lead to good things, because sometimes in a negotiation, you do want to get the feeling that you are negotiating with a crazy person,
right?
Who will just do anything. Now, that can go one of two ways. So it's just one of those things, right? It doesn't mean.
Well, you hit it too with the China war. The thing is, we owning a house, right? Yeah. We all want to go after it. It's the American dream, but that's what they call it, the American dream. In China, that's not necessarily the goal. To own. Yeah. They'll live off the government. They'll allow themselves to kind of have their standard of living.
They don't have a choice.
But I'm saying, that's why to fight those people,
it's tough.
Our standard of living goes down if our favorite restaurant closes. We have to have a protest and we can't handle it. Where the Chinese will say, "Listen, you could kill members of my family. We're okay
as long as the glory of China in 30 years."
That's what it is.
We all set out.
So
to
it's
make
tough
it.
to beat them.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard, but.
Because they can turn invisible.
The advantage that America has always had, which we've actually forfeited over the past few years, is we've always been the global center of cool.
Right.
That people want to be America. We exported movies and music and things like that people really, we were an aspirational country. People wanted our standard of living. They wanted the house with the 2-car garage, the vacation. They watch shows like Beverly Hills 90210, or even shows like Seinfeld. They go, these people are living cool, fun lives. And then I think over the last few years, we've lost the ability to manufacture that type of PR campaign. We just don't have it anymore. So what we should be hitting China with is the cultural thing of being like, yeah, but we're cool.
Right.
And we're doing things that are cool in our
Can we get Candace Owens to call Z's wife a man?
I mean, we can see. I don't know, but she might not be.
Yeah.
I don't think she is. The French one might be.
Yeah. She might be.
The French one might be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so listen, at the end of the day, then we're probably going to say, if we had to choose one, if we have to give the coordinates to China and say you're going to bomb one and only one,
Beverly Hills ultimately, because it's part of a dying thing,
right? And it's one industry based. Yeah.
Beverly Hills is really nothing. I mean, in the sense that it's a cool city. The Hamptons isn't much of anything either, to be honest. It's just Manhattan's the thing. The Hamptons are just kind of whatever. But if you got to get rid of one, you would go with Beverly Hills, because it's part of Los Angeles, and it's hard not to identify Los Angeles as a sinking ship.
Got it.
When the television and film production has fully fled the state,
right?
You can't get it back. It's not going to happen. You can't put that worse than the homeless, the fires, the crime is the fact that they have let their main industry leave the state.
And it makes me feel bad because, Beverly Hills is on this decline, and then the Menendez brothers, when they get out, are going to come back to a city that doesn't look like how they left it, and that's unfortunate.
Is my main concern.
Yeah, that is a main concern.
Yeah, they are getting out. Just so we know, so to be crystal clear, the Menendez brothers.
They are?
I read something about it this morning. Some lawyer was saying that they are getting out. He's never seen the judge allow a resentence hearing if it's not fully. The full intention is for them to get out, or else the judge. They're very worried about spending.
Let them out. You know what I say? Let them out. Let them out.
Yeah.
At this point,
let them out.
Yeah,
they've done their time.
Maybe we've lost our greatness because we frown upon dads like that.
Well,
turn their kids into star tennis players.
I bet some big Hollywood executives call the judge and go, "We need them out now.
Yeah.
We need to save Paramount Plus.
Seriously,
Taylor Sheridan needs to put them in cowboy hats, and we need some revenue."
Now, what about Republican Hollywood, Austin? Do you think that's got a chance to come up?
That's going to be fine.
No,
is that
it's dead?
It's not that it's dead, but there's there is no republic in Hollywood. The whole thing's collapsed. It's all just the black box of digital.
Right.
Is it libertarian Hollywood or it's entertainment?
No, it's 3 podcasts.
That's it.
That's the thing. You don't realize Hollywood, like, it's just like that was a real thing that hundreds of thousands of people, millions and millions of people derived a living from that. There's
Hollywood
4
had a
podcasts.
bigger GDP than most countries.
Yeah. I mean, it's just you can't set it up in Texas or anywhere else because, like New York, that started in the 1400s as a Dutch fur trading outpost and then grew into a city that predates America. Everything forms over a very long time and for many different reasons. Movies are dead. It's not like, oh, we're going to make them in Texas. It's like no one gives a shit.
So do you really foresee, I've pondered this, do you foresee it's very similar to the car industry in Detroit becoming that's not the industry anymore?
No, because
it's not going to happen like
Hollywood has weather.
Yeah, it's too nice.
So you'll just have really rich people continue to live in Southern California. The city of Hollywood will become a museum that people will visit.
Got it. Like it'll be like a San Diego. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, if they're smart, they'll focus exclusively on tourism right now. And they're going to try to bring back some of those jobs, but I think they pivot to like it's a tourist destination. Come visit,
right?
And you make it really, really nice.
So
it's interesting.
Yeah, I got a good question. So how now?
Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah, how does the state now filter its propaganda?
Yeah.
If there's no Hollywood,
that is
anymore?
a good question.
Yeah,
that is a good
how
question.
do they do that now?
Well,
do they approach influencers? How do they do
They'll
it?
probably try to do that. I think they will count on the public getting so black-pilled and dispirited that they don't really need propaganda anymore, only because there's going to be so much noise and so much chaos. I think they'll just count on people to like tune out.
Right.
That's what I think's
So
coming.
there's no more Rocky movies chanting, if you can change, I can change.
No, I think
it's more just tune out.
I think people are going to tune out, and they're going to. It'll just get more and more fun, where you just do the Face ID, and then you're in the world, and then the augmented reality is coming, virtual reality. They haven't figured out a way to do any of that yet, but like the metaverse, all that stuff. I feel like their goal is to usher people into that as quickly as they can, so that people can so they can start ignoring reality and live in these digital worlds. Then they can program the digital worlds to be what they want them to be. Reality is something that they've kind of given up on. They're trying to usher us into that.
As Yannis has said many times in the show, reality is a suggestion.
Yeah.
I
don't think they care.
They don't care at all anymore.
I don't think they care.
But this isn't happening tomorrow. We still have 50 to 100 years. Not in our lifetime. In our children's lifetime might be
It's hard to know how long it'll take but I think it's happening sooner than you think. I think you'll be... AI and stuff's going to get real freaky within 10 years.
Cash is king, as we've been saying here on this show.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure you have, you never know.
Yeah. It's going to get weird.
It's going to get weird.
Yeah.
It's going to get weird with the
We're
robots.
around to see a little bit of the weirdness for sure.
Very interesting time for us to be alive, actually.
Yeah. As long as they make a robot that you can fuck, people will be okay.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
They already have it.
Yeah,
They already have it. They have it big.
Nobody that lived in the 90s in Hollywood that would ever trade places with any of us.
Zero.
If you brought them back and you said, you guys used to have fun, there were no cameras. If a woman acted up, you threw her in a Santa Monica Canyon.
Yeah.
And now they would come here and they would go, what is this? I'm in surveillance all the time.
Right.
I'm being filmed at a restaurant. I'm cheating on my wife.
Right.
I'm doing that. I'm doing that. AI's taking the job. What is this? I can't even abuse my assistant because it's virtual.
Yeah.
They don't want. No one wants.
Yeah.
They don't even want it.
Yeah.
They don't even want it. There's no point.
No.
There's really no point right now to even be a big Hollywood executive. What would be the point? What would be the point?
It's not fun at all.
To fuck me? What's the point?
Yeah.
I'm successful. If I'm successful, what the hell's the point of anything?
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the money is not the same.
Nothing's the same.
Yeah.
You can't get away with any crimes anymore because of de facto surveillance.
And they're barely worth committing.
Yeah.
That's even the bigger part. They're barely worth committing.
Yeah.
The crimes are not even worth committing.
Yeah. Is that why everyone's so depressed? Because they can't have any fun anymore?
I think people just have started to realize that it's like, it's like if you're a kid and they send for you, like the dean or the principal or somebody sends for you.
You're in trouble.
And you're just walking down a hallway. That's what society feels like. We're walking down the hallway now. And our dean and our principle is automation and artificial intelligence and wherever the tech overlords are going to take us. And we just know that there's no way out of it. So we have to walk down that hallway.
Right.
And that's what society feels like right now. We just don't know what's going to happen when we're there, but we know it's going to be weird and maybe not something that we love.
So you think
good point.
The tech overlords now have a grip on society?
Yes.
I mean, they were the ones at the presidential inauguration, not the senators.
They were all Democrats, and they all then discovered they were Republicans when Trump won.
Right.
They all then went there. China drops its DeepSeek AI.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the tech people go, we need a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
Sam Altman, all these guys, they go to Trump. They go, we need a lot of money. Elon Musk are like, we need money. We got to be competitive with them. And yeah, I mean, I think they're fully, I don't think they believe in America as a country. I think they believe in the power of technology to elevate the human experience into a non-human experience.
Right.
To them, America is more than just the lines on the map. They believe America is throughout everywhere.
No, they don't care about America at all. They believe they don't. America is just a place they were born to get into.
Just
the
on their
business they're
passport.
in.
Yeah.
One of the biggest startups during COVID was they were trying to create another country where they were going to buy land and run a country on crypto and make it into a libertarian paradise. They don't want a central government. They don't want America. They want to run a country on a digital currency with a kind of an oligarch thing, because why would they, who are billionaires on their way to trillionaires, the wealthiest people that have ever lived, and I'm including, Carnegie and Rockefeller right now, because they're getting to the point where they're on average, adjusted for inflation, they're right there with Carnegie and Rockefeller. I mean, maybe you could go back to the Ming Dynasty and say those people are richer, or the Petro dictatorships are richer, but these are the wealthiest people in a Western country that have ever lived, for the most part. And why would they listen to a congressman from Georgia who, is a teacher?
Who needs help with his email from his son?
Yeah, they're not into that. That doesn't make any sense to them, and why would it?
Yeah.
So they think that they have to take over the American government and use it for their own ends, in the same way that the financial industry believed that they had to do that in the 80s, actually. And did it.
Right.
And did it.
I track the culture based on Mark Zuckerberg's aesthetic.
That's right.
He went from progressive.
Yes.
He has two eras.
Now he's a jiu-jitsu pro.
And now he's now
He's got the
he's
chain
a
out,
jiu-jitsu
the
pro.
hair nice.
Yeah.
Is there another Mark Zuckerberg coming, or is this the final
Depends
form?
who wins, right?
You better hope he doesn't come out in a fucking kimono with his eyes peeled
Is
back.
that what's next?
You better hope he doesn't come with the tape on the eye. Then we're done.
If he comes out like that, then it's over.
With one of those rice patties,
then
it's
we're
over.
done.
That could be
Then
the
you
next
know
one.
who's won the war.
Then it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He comes,
So
he's
this
sitting
is-
on the floor.
Yeah.
If
you
you
don't want
see
that.
if you see him next and he's doing real slow Tai Chi,
That's it. They're done.
So
You don't wanna
hopefully
see him with
this is-
chopsticks. You don't
Gonna
want to
get
see any of that.
Yeah, so hopefully this is final form.
That's right.
That's
This
what
is
you
the
want.
last stand
Because
right
if he
here.
morphs into a Chinese, we're done.
Yeah.
DOA.
Yeah. I just don't know if we can withstand their onslaught with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, no,
It's not-
the kids can fight.
Yeah,
the Asian kids can
they-
fight.
well,
They're always good.
They're ninjas, dude. It's
That's right.
tough. It's really tough.
I actually read something about them, how real evil the Japanese were in World War II. They used to make the soldiers, their prisoners of war, they would all line them up, and then they would all have the top Japanese soldiers go in front of them, and they would get their dick sucked. They would have the soldiers would have to suck the Japanese guys' dicks, and then they would make one soldier shoot the other one in the head as soon as the one guy came. So it's just what it was. And they would cut babies out, pregnant women in front of them, disembowel them, wrap them up. It was fun, cute stuff. So they needed to be bombed.
Now, if you were giving advice to someone coming up now, right? Let's say the kid's 15, 16.
Not
years
comedy,
as
just
a
overall life.
dictator?
No, overall. Overall,
right.
a kid coming up 15, 16, right? You got your two beacons on a hill, right? You got Beverly Hills, you got the Hamptons, right? You're going to give them advice. How do you get to one of these two places? What do you got to do now? Who do you got to be? What career should you choose? How do you live the American dream now? You're talking to this 15-year-old kid. He's got his phone in his hand. AI's coming. He sees Candace. He sees people getting famous from political punditry. He sees comedians. He sees Lil Mo. He sees us. He sees lawyers. He sees ChatGPT doing contracts. What do you tell this kid to make it to the Hamptons, to live the American dream?
I think it really depends on what that kid has. Everyone's got a skill and There's people that are hot, that are attractive, that are going to be attractive their entire life. They got to trade on that.
So is that an OnlyFans? Go start that.
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know what it could be, right? It
Yeah.
could be marrying into a very wealthy family.
Right.
That's also a
Just
business
shutting
proposition.
your mouth,
Shutting your mouth.
and going into a wealthy family. You can trade on that. There's people that are entertaining and relentless.
Yeah.
And those are the two things you need right now in the business that we're in and adjacent businesses. It's actually talent, but you got to be relentless.
Yeah.
You can't stop. You got to keep going
Until you go fucking crazy.
until you go insane.
Yeah.
What it is.
Yeah.
And then you even make more money.
Like you've said, this is a life sentence.
It's a life sentence.
Yeah.
Now, there's people that have that. There's people that, for whatever reason, have a tremendous ability to withstand, I don't know, like large amounts of adversity or whatever the case may be. And then those people will probably go into like some type of shady underground thing.
Right.
Crime syndicate, intelligence agency, shadowy thing, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
It really depends on your nature because you can't tell a certain type of person to just do a certain type of thing.
The intelligence communities must be flourishing right now because it's
Yeah.
a real information war, right? It's like we're all
Yeah.
on camera. Everything's a show. So they must have their tentacles. There must be this sort of war going on in the shadows between all these countries' intelligence services to win favor, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's
Got to be fun. It's got to be fun again.
There's definitely that. I think a lot of those people that we think of, like analysts that are sitting in Langley, Virginia, are not making a lot of money. They're kind of government employees and stuff like that. I think it's the big people and the people that really have all those skill sets and relationships from the intelligence community, but kind of do their own thing.
You're right.
Those are the people. That's why all of our ex-intel chiefs pop up in Dubai a lot.
Right.
And they're no longer, well, what are they doing?
Right.
Yeah.
They're all over the world, and yet they're not officially working for the United States government, but they're everywhere doing all these fun things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What it is.
You got to admit it's a confusing world, right?
It's a confusing world, but you know what's happening, and you'll see it with our kids. Our kids are young enough with it. This is what it is. It was anti-ChatGPT. We have software. The schools have software to stop ChatGPT.
Now it's in there.
Now it's how do we make these kids good at ChatGPT? So how do we help them?
And the next thing will be, how do we give them the chip?
Sure.
Because the chip is going to be ChatGPT now is inside.
Well, in many ways, I mean,
You're going to augment yourself. I mean, that's coming inevitably. We might be the last generation of people that are fully actually like human.
when you text with my stepson's 14 when he's on a group chat with me and his mom, every response we get from him is a response from ChatGPT. He'll say, how do I respond to my mom and not piss her off with her telling me it's the 5th time I've asked you to come down for dinner? And it's a ChatGPT response. It's not him.
Really?
He's not saying, because you'll get a response of, hey, Mom, sorry, I know this must be hard for you, but I am just taking a moment here upstairs with me. I've been using the bathroom. I might have some gastrointestinal issues. I will be down in a few minutes. I love you, and I thank you for your consideration. Like text like that.
Right, okay.
So and Jasmine doesn't understand sometimes. I said, Jazz, she's like, I don't know, what is he doing? Like, what are these responses? I'm like, it's ChatGPT. And then so he obviously won't admit that. He's like, no, I'm writing that. I don't want to piss off Mom. I said, I know what you're doing. It's ChatGPT.
Right.
You're responding with ChatGPT, but by the way, I'm not mad at him for that. That's how these kids do. I actually told him what you should do is when you text with your friends, because everything now is forever. And you're a young kid. You don't know what's going to happen later on in life. You should just respond with all this shit with ChatGPT.
Right.
Just do that. Why not?
Right.
Say ChatGPT to prompted. How do I give a response right now where I'll still be funny and cool to my friends, but I won't be hung out to dry 5 years from now when I get a job?
Yeah, once they get
what
into
it
the
is.
text messages, once the hackers figure out how to get into the text messages,
That's a problem.
Then whatever overlord we have is going to be able to honeypot all of us.
Well, I think that's probably at the higher levels.
Yeah.
When you say, why is so-and-so saying that?
Yeah.
I would assume at some point some company hacked into their phones and say, hey, we have you saying all this.
Me and you were going into a re-education.
We have a rail bit. The only way out is what we could just say is because of how good AI is. You can just always say it's AI.
It's very interesting. I'll just say this. It's very interesting that all of these places, whether it's the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times or whatever, Harvard or Yale or whatever, all of these places usually end up agreeing on a lot of things. So that's very interesting.
And that thing is, we will take that money from Qatar.
Yeah. Well, some of them, sure. But a lot of them are agree. They agree, and you go, well, this is either by chance that everyone agrees by chance, or there's some mechanism to keep everybody agreeing with each other.
That's personally what I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's something interesting about the fact that, like, so the Wall Street Journal is right wing, and the New York Times is supposedly left wing, but they are all together on lots of key issues. They believe a lot of the same things.
And that's because the top
Wall
editors,
Street. They're all into Wall Street.
The dominance of the financial sector, pretty much universal support for Israel, the American empire, all of these things, free trade, a lot of open border stuff, pro-business, all of these things they're somewhat anti-populist.
Yep.
All of these things are pretty interesting for organizations that seemingly are diametrically opposed to each other on issues maybe like a tax rate. If we're fed this idea that, like, well, the Wall Street Journal say taxes should be 37 and the New York Times says they should be 39.5. Wow.
right?
Or the Wall Street Journal believes in abortion.
Splitting hairs.
Abortion for till the second trimester or the first trimester. The New York Times believes it should be for the entire pregnancy, whatever. And then we lose the idea that, like, oh, but all of them don't believe that Citibank should ever get broken up.
Right. And that's because the top editors both have been contacted and they both have proof. The powers that be say you both saying the N-word in text messages.
Whatever it is,
So
right.
it's up to you, guy.
Whatever it is, there's some mechanism that nobody really diverges from a certain course.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
the big banks is one that they really agree on.
They all agree on the big banks.
Yeah.
They agree primarily on a lot of the tech stuff. They agree corporate interests dominate.
Right.
Always. And immigration's a corporate interest. Low-wage labor is a corporate interest.
Right.
Now, it's been branded as this racial thing.
Inhumane,
or whatever. But what it really is a corporate interest. The Koch brothers were the biggest proponents of immigration in this country, the most well-financed, and they didn't do it because they loved people from Guatemala.
Right.
They did it because they wanted to break the back of the American working class and destroy unions.
Right.
And they knew that the way to do that was to flood the country with low-wage labor. And
They make more money.
That's what it is. So corporate interests have defined the press for a very long time.
Right.
And that's why you have schools like Harvard and Yale. They're just existed to create a consensus amongst the wealthiest and most powerful people about how they're going to behave.
Well, that's why authenticity is the biggest it's ever been now, and why everyone's responding to being authentic, because there is no way we can pull back the curtain now any way we want. You used to be able to hide this stuff a lot better. You can't really anymore. That's why someone who's authentic is moving forward at a much, because they're saying, oh, this person's matching what because you could say to your blue. I mean, I would assume that every other president does exactly what Donald Trump has done with all this stuff. It's just there was no video evidence to support it. Now there is.
Yeah, I think
so it's the same thing.
I think he's certainly diverging on certain things, but again, there are just key things that no American president really goes against.
So if we're deporting all these people now, right?
Yeah.
It looks like they're doing a good job. It's
We're not
pretty
really
fun.
deporting all of these people.
No,
We're actually
his numbers
deporting-
are actually the same as Biden's.
Yeah, we're not deporting all
but
of these
there's less crossings for sure.
There's less crossings.
There's less crossings.
Big
Right.
time.
So if the factories do come back,
Yeah.
how do we sneak those people back in
Yeah.
to work
They'll
at the
come.
factories?
Well, no, what's going to happen is they're going to be AI, those workers. They might test it there. I think that could be a hunch.
The messaging of this administration has been very confusing and not good. Meaning, like, if you're doing all of this stuff to bring back American jobs, and then Elon Musk and these tech guys go, actually, it's going to be AI. And then Steve Bannon goes, wait a minute, we're not doing all of this to make life better for AI. We're not doing this to make life better for robots.
Right.
This is when the rubber is going to meet the road. You have a lot of feuding factions in the Republican Party. You have, like, let's call them the Hannity, Ben Shapiro wing of low taxes, investment, the same type of Republicans that have always been there. The country club's nice. If you're poor, start a hedge fund. Good luck. Goodbye.
Yeah.
That's their part. Then you have the Steve Bannon wing, which is a populist nationalist wing. They go, we want tariffs, we want factories back, we want working class, we want to raise taxes to 40% on podcasters that have been successful. Thank you, Steve. And other people, we want high taxes. That's one wing. And then you have the tech futurists that go, we don't really believe in anything except we want to take humanity and augment it and get to where we're going sooner. We want to accelerate all these policies. We want to smash the government that's going to tell us no. We want to suck all the money out. And then we want to take all that money and start moving our projects faster than China's. and we don't really give a shit about anything except that.
We don't care Republican, Democrat. We don't care about humans in general.
Yeah, we're
They're
not
transhumanists.
they're transhumanists.
Do they? Is there a consensus among them? They all believe this. They all believe that the future is this sort of augmented human who lives on Mars.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Who's post
1,000%.
Post problematic, post anxiety.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Believe the inevitability is the gene splicing stuff, the Neuralink stuff, that the chip, the human being. You know, Elon said once, I think that we're like a low grade operating system or something. I don't know if those are the exact words, but like
pretty accurate though.
Most of them do believe that in order we have to merge with AI, or AI will just get rid of us. I think that's pretty much where a lot of them stand. I'm sure there's some of them that dissent from that view. But I think pretty much it's an inevitability that if we're going to have artificial intelligence and quantum computing and all these things, if human beings don't merge with it on some level, that it will just become more powerful and it will get rid of us.
They want to edit out our flaws and make us into a higher being.
Yeah, I mean,
and they think technology
once they go
is the
to you
way
and
do
go,
it.
your kid can have no medical issues, no this, no that, and by the way, what about blue eyes, blonde hair, or whatever?
Yeah.
And it does get Hitlerian and freaky and scary, but it does seem to be that is what a lot of this.
I mean, so one of these futurists said that they firmly 100% believe. This was an interview from last year that the first human who will live forever is alive right now. They believe that.
That's right.
That who will not, whose consciousness,
and actually he's the president. But not only is he alive.
Yeah.
No, I think the tech people are smart. They go, we see where the country's going. We know it's going in the world. It's not America. The world's going in this populist direction because a lot of the people in these countries that have governed these countries have done so without concern for the standards of living of the working class.
Right.
So the working class have kind of been thrown overboard. Those people are now angry and electing populist leaders. So then the tech people sashayed right over to the populist front and said, yeah, we're going to buy Twitter. We'll let you say whatever you want, this, that, and the other thing. But also, we also have idea. And by the way, I'm not even saying that the tech people are wrong on all their things, because it's just weird and interesting. And like, their concern is like, not like, let's get people healthcare. Their concern is like, we're going somewhere that nobody's prepared for, but we're going there quick.
Yeah, they're not thinking about individuals. They're thinking more about the
future. They think the future is probably getting off the planet, or the future is like, merging with this artificial intelligence. It's interesting.
They're excited about the future. They're not really here. They're looking forward. So, in conclusion, you got the Hamptons, you got Beverly Hills. Will there be a new one with these people that they'll set up, or which one of these will win between the two? You ultimately said Beverly Hills is gone, so the Hamptons has the edge now. Is there a third one coming?
Yes, and it will. The one that they really want is one that is post nation state. It's supranational. It doesn't really have, and if there is a government, it's a council of people that are decide. You'll get cryptocurrency when you're born. It'll be biologically linked to you. It'll be biometric data that links a specific crypto to you. You'll get a certain an allowance in that. You'll use that money to buy things you need.
Right.
You'll have these 15-minute walkable cities where you'll be able to go here, there, and the other thing. They're going to start to use climate change as a way to ban private automobiles. They'll make travel harder. You'll actually stay where you are. They'll use the threats of war and terrorism as a way to keep you from going to other places, and they'll create kind of like a District 9 situation for the poor.
Right.
The rich will be able to buy into a better version of this, and then the super rich will live on a cloud in the way that they do now, but it'll be tech feudalism as opposed to Republican versus Democrat. You'll get so bored of the political fights after a while, I think you'll just tune out, and I think you'll just have this tech feudalism where you will get new updates all the time, and things will get easier and cooler per se, but you will not have an investment in, you will just get a standard of living and a quality of life, but social mobility will not exist. You will not be able to go from one class to another as easily. And
that's why the Indians are probably so pissed.
Yeah, that's where it's going. That's where they want it to go. They think human beings are just too unruly, that democracy doesn't work. The problem with democracy, the inherent flaw in democracy, is that you have these uber powerful oligarchs that are going to manipulate it to their own ends anyway. So why not just fucking move in the direction of a tech feudalism where you accept that these people are going to run the show and they're going to run it with technology, and then AI will make a lot of the laws.
That's what I was going to say.
And they won't have emotion behind them.
Right.
And
we're going to beg for it at some point.
And that's it. So I think that's what's coming. I think what's coming is actually kind of dull.
Right.
And not super.
So
it's going to be less exciting.
We have a little fun while we're here then.
Yeah. And so geographically speaking, Greenland, Epstein Island, where are they going to put it?
Oh, that's
Mars.
a great question.
Yeah.
I mean,
where's the New Hamptons going to be? Is that why they're trying to buy Greenland?
It'll probably be in one of those towers in Dubai, just above everything.
Yeah.
There it is. That's
And you'll
the New
have
Hamptons.
to go all the way up.
And no phones, no blocks the tech.
It's all built
maybe
in.
up
No,
there.
it's all built into you.
It'll all be built into you.
Built
So
in.
your
Right.
phone, you know, it'll just be built in. You are the phone.
Right.
This will go in there
Right.
eventually.
Right.
That's my best guess. I don't know, but that seems to be where we're heading.
Right.
What can you do?
That's what
Nothing.
it is.
What you do is you go see Little Mo Mozzarella.
Yeah.
How you doing?
How you
My
done?
boy, Little Mo. All right.
Thank you for
That's
having
it.
me. I'm your mother on Netflix. Please.
That's right.
Yes.
Go
Yes.
watch Tim Dillon's
Go
special
watch
on
it.
Netflix right now called I'm Your Mother. Of course, listen to the Tim Dillon Show. Follow Tim Dillon if you don't already. But check out the special. It's great. He's a hilarious stand-up comedian, a hilarious social commentator, a hilarious podcaster. What other slashes do you got?
Well, I did get a text earlier today. I'm the Secretary of Defense.
There you
I
go.
didn't realize that.
Congratulations.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, as always, you go to patreon.com/history hyenas, get your name read out loud. Right here on the Patreon, we pick a winner, the funniest name, the PPW, pseudo penis of the week. We also have extra bonus content that is exclusive, only on patreon.com/history hyenas. Some of the best work we have exists only there. We just have a new series up there called Snowstorms. We have Walk Talks, we have Karmakazis, and we just have full bonus episodes.
And we got political polling with the On Notice Boys and Ladder 14. And this is the part of the show where you make us laugh, and we love each and every one of you.
And it's what it is, and it's a community. That's the thing at patreon.com/history hyenas. If you're looking for a community, that's where you go. We got a community. Everybody loves each other over there, and it's just very fun. All right, welcome to the show, Tyler LaSousa. Men's suffrage.
Men's suffrage gets a chicken finger, and
I like it.
I'm putting them on the list.
Wow.
Yeah, men's suffrage. Yes,
Only-
men are back.
Only very,
Funny.
very rare times do as a name this early get on the list.
Yeah, and just a simple chicken finger like that usually just gets chicken fingered, but it's very funny.
That's like throwing a perfect game on opening day.
That's right.
Yeah. Then we got Trumpelstiltskin, gives it to me dodgy style, and I like it.
Okay, that's a Drexler.
No booty cutie.
No booty cutie. Okay, that's funny.
Then we got Tiberius's Gluefish.
Okay.
Leonardo, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Phoenix Harrison, Brian Nasson. Make the check-in bar duty free. Okay.
Chicken bar duty free.
Make the check-in bar duty free. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. Pierogi Monkey with a piece.
Okay.
Chrissy's prissy little glue gun. Beefcakes. Gobba My Ghoul. Frog Heart. Okay.
Gobble My Ghoul was funny too.
Blake Sands. Majestic Queef.
Majestic Queef. Okay.
Braden Gallant. TT is my dad. Chicken figure?
Well, it's up to you.
Oh,
It's your
walked into
family.
one, a family walked into one.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, right,
you gotta remember, you know, what would do, I can't.
I mean, all right,
That's for you.
So family can't do
Is that a chicken finger or walked into one?
I mean, I would say it's a chicken figure walked into one.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
Slash. It's a slash.
Matthew, Will Hogan, Royal Brothers, Cole Jameson, Logan Sittler. My name rhymes with something.
Okay, that's a very funny one. That's that's a creative walked into one.
Yeah. David Gillow, Andy Pace, Schindler's List post-credit scene, Andrew Schultz cameo.
Wait, what?
Schindler's List post-credit scene, Andrew Schultz cameo.
Yeah,
I don't know.
post credits rolling.
Because he looked like a Nazi with
Yeah,
a mustache.
yeah,
Got it. All right,
Got it.
all right. Treat my piece like a trumpet. Call me Gluis Armstrong.
Put him on the list.
All right, Gluis
Put
Armstrong.
Louis
Is that-
Armstrong on the list.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what I'm talking about.
Jack Conway, Philip Gauthier, Ryan, Jason Beckett, Josh Patient, Isaac, last name Gastelum. Hey, walked in the line. No good. Then we got a Portuguese squeak with a piece.
Welcome.
Welcome. Brittany Miller, Hassan Raza, Boston Ice Squad.
Put the Boston Ice Squad on the list.
Okay. Oh. It's funny, right?
Yeah.
Derek Theall. Then we got technically a muzzy, but when I get a buzzy, I touch my cuzzy's fuzzy puzzy.
Okay.
Okay. I can tell you stole this car by looking at the vinegar.
Say what?
I don't get that the vinegar.
It's maybe a walked into one.
I don't know.
VIN number? Isn't a VIN number on a car?
Yeah, but it says vinegar.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's trying to walk into one
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
John Dunn, I order my cornerback, Bobby Caldwell.
Yes, I know. He said, I think you can tell if the car's stolen
Right.
by looking at the vinegar.
Right.
So, looking who's driving the car.
But what does that mean, the vinegar?
That's why this is a fun game, because you're as smart as you are. The thing about you is you're a combination of like, aw shucks, naive,
Yeah.
and also very smart.
Yeah.
Like you do study the Jew.
Right.
Right. But there's also like, you still don't get it?
I still don't get the vinegar.
Take the VI out of it.
It's what it is.
I can tell if the car is stolen by looking at take the VI out of it.
Yeah, it's what it is.
Yeah, it's
okay. So it's a
walked-in
walked in one, so we exit out. We don't talk about that. Okay.
I love how they're coming up with creative ones to trick you, though. It's a very fun
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
All right. Then we got Cam, Kimberly Kitty, David Power, Zane Garner, King Louie needs a bidet, cuz. It's an old one.
Yeah.
Vonnie, Jammy. Then we got Benny spreads his butt cheeks and rollerblades backwards.
Put him on the list.
All right, fine. It's a good one, no?
It's a real good one. It's a funny visual, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah.
Then we got Fume Raider, like Tomb Raider, Fume Raider.
Yeah.
Drexler. Matthew Howell, Yamakaze pilot.
Wow. Yamakaze pilot. I'm gonna Drexler it.
All right.
I'm coming after that other one.
Matthew Settlecheck, Dylan Haub, Kelly Joe Horton, Irosi TMG, JD Allen, Osama Big Hard on.
Put him on the list.
All right.
Wow, this is a great list.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great list.
Dashton Kiefer, SG, Zach James, Thomas B. Bacon, Carrie Roche, Nude on Wicker, Matt Cook, DK, Jackson Frederick, David Parker, Joe Caserta. If my Leroy neighbors are listening to this, please turn down your music. I have work in the morning.
Put him on the list.
All right, fine.
This is. I hate this, dude. I hate when we have some lists with none, and then fucking. It's
just what
not
it is.
fair.
It's just what it is. But we did listen to you guys, and we're not doing the lists anymore with the guests because you guys hate that.
Yeah.
Warm milk before bed from Nancy P's Quadruple D's.
So good. I'm gonna Drexler it just because of the list.
All right.
I mean, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, it's not we could do.
You guys can veto me and say,
I get
but
it.
what am I supposed to do?
You're right. Shane Mills, my girl's turd cutter drops bigger bombs than Hiroshima. Okay, this girl takes big shit.
Yeah, I want it. I put it on, but this is the definition of a Drexler.
It's too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a Drexler.
Mitch Ekis, Grateful J Grows, Elise Meehan. My uncle said it's only gay if you like it.
Put him on the list.
All right, on the list.
Oh my God.
Yeah. DJT, Alex, Eamon. I'm paying interest on this. Daniel McCrogan, Benjamin Missile Strikes Neyahu.
Oh God.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Joseph
walked-in
Cabrera, William McNeil, Endless Glue from my Eastern Hemi piece. Codis, Annan, Kenny G, but not the gay one. Schmat, Greek Squeak, let me take a peek.
Okay.
Chase Campbell, Frisbee Tossin Champ, Yeet Off Rizzler.
Walked into one.
Casey Anthony's Waste Management.
It's so good. Walked into one. That's really good. It's walked into one.
I get it. So walked into
put
one.
the baby in the.
Yeah, it's what
It's what it is.
Yeah. Big
Creative though.
It is. Big Papa Pussy Pump.
Very funny.
Knuckle to gape. Okay, walked into one. Walked into
Not
one.
good. Jesus Christ.
Not good. Angel Otero, beer covered Phillies fan. Mike Shaughnessy, DG615, and Spank Me Open and Call Me Hugo Boss. Michael Toomey, Lara Croft Fume Raider. We got a few Fume Raiders. What's going on?
That's a good one. I don't know. I don't remember ever having that one. But
Then we got Mine.
instead of Mine Hunt?
Instead of. They put Mine.
Oh, instead of Mein Kampf?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not gay, but will leave it in. Not gay, but will leave it in till the swelling goes down. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
It's the swelling of his dick.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
The custom leather interior of Leah Thomas's designer crease.
Okay.
Frisbee Freak Off, Hale Diddler. Mm-hmm. Tyler, Javier Barriga. Nobody shot JFK. His head just did that.
Put him on the list.
Okay. Tampa Tony's Taint Baloney.
Taint Baloney is
Taint
great.
Baloney's funny.
Drexler.
Drexler. John Andre.
Yeah.
John Andre, interesting, British spy. Daniel Downey, I made Akash touch my piece in high school to prove he was gay. Okay. Lee Anderson, Brent, Evan Younts, Nazis could have just sicked Chinese bats on the Frisbees. Called my coworker a muzzy, got called into HR, told him it was a character piece. I got fired.
Very funny. That's a Drexler.
Sean Miller, Chrissy looks like Tanner from Love on the Spectrum. Ronald Ferguson, Hitler wasn't a bad guy. Hold on. Hitler wasn't a bad guy. Meth is just really good. Okay?
It's very funny.
All right, last page. I tuck my pee-pee between my legs while I eat a pussy. Okay.
Funny visual.
Paul Green, here for the content. Benjamin, Shep, Casey Oldenburg. Igloo orgy in 51st State was too hot, and now we're in a puddle of water, syrup, and amp glue.
Very funny Drexler.
I yelled ice on the 7 train because I wanted a seat. Just what it is.
You got to put him on the list.
But
I mean,
it's very funny, very inventive.
Very inventive, and I'm telling you, this is the worst one. This is the worst one, meaning good.
This is hard.
I want to put all these on the list.
You want to put all these as the winners.
I want all of them to be PPW.
Giovanni Ramirez, born a Frank, but identity as Beans.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, my GF is Mexican, so I hit her with tariffs.
Put her on the list.
Okay.
I never wanted you to stop more than now. This is just getting unfair.
We got the rest of one page, and then it's done.
This is bad. These should all be their own winners on their own lists.
Marcus Lewis, I glue gunned a Frisbee to stop my leaky roof. M. Vitale, Spencer Allegresa, Rick Roberts, Jesse Aponte. Tariffs are for Anne Frank and Chrissy D. Spunky Monkey, Kevin Robertson, Amit Ramadi, Justin Acri. I bombed on Rogan because cigar boons make me gag. Average and Proud, Scott Cizic. I put a pep in my step, and now I'm enrolled at UCF. Haig Dagan, Wasp Monkey with a leaky Jijan Peen, ladder 14. Oh, ladder 14 with an R.
14, yeah. Ladder 14.
Andrew Norman, Logan, Omar Sandoval, and then Puerto Rican pegs in between Chrissy's legs. Hashtag rest my case.
Okay.
All right.
Thank God. All right. This is
here we go.
hard.
So here's the list, folks. This is a biggie.
You think this is probably the biggest list we've had?
This is a lot.
Yeah.
So let me read them all out. And then we'll make a decision here. If my Leroy neighbors are listening to this, please turn down your music. I have work in the morning.
Keep it for now.
Okay. My uncle said it's only gay if you like it.
We're going to chicken finger that one.
Okay.
I'm sorry, dude. We have a lot of those gay ones, you know?
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
It's only gay if you like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody shot JFK. His head just did that.
Very funny. I'm going to Drexler that.
Okay. All right. Men's suffrage.
I'm gonna chicken finger that.
Right, that was early on.
Yeah.
Treat my piece like a trumpet. Call me Gluis Armstrong.
Gluis Armstrong's too good to not make a contender.
All right.
Gluis Armstrong.
Boston Ice Squad.
I'm gonna chicken finger that.
Okay.
Really tough.
Benny spreads his butt cheeks and rollerblades backwards.
A contender. Yeah.
Then we got Osama Big Hard On.
I'm gonna contender that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then got a couple more. Then we got I yelled ice on the 7 train because I wanted a seat.
I'm going to contend to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kevin, my GF is Mexican, so I hit her with tariffs. Got to contend to that. Off the left. Okay,
yeah.
So here's the thing, cuz we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 contenders.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to just read them out.
Yeah.
And just going to have to, okay?
This is going to be votes. This is not going to be me making this decision. I don't want to get hate mail.
Let me just read them out.
Yeah.
Treat my piece like a trumpet, call me Gluis Armstrong. Benny spread his butt cheeks and rollerblades backwards. Osama Big Hard On. If my Leroy neighbors are listening to this, please turn down your music. I have work in the morning. I yelled ice on the 7 train because I wanted a seat. Kevin, my GF is a Mexican, so I hit her with tariffs.
Here's the good news about this. I think we do this right. I really do think we get the right ones.
Yes, we do.
I think we do it. I think most people agree, listen, we get the right ones. So what do you think?
To me, for me, and this is just my vote, just because I simply think it's the most inventive and it's just something we haven't ever really heard before, is Benny spreads his butt cheeks and rollerblades backwards. I know it's gay, but we've had a lot of ice.
Yeah.
It's between that and Gluis Armstrong for me because we've had a lot of ice. We've had a lot of Leroy. We've had a lot of that, even though it's hilarious.
Right.
But I just think it's inventive. The rollerblading backwards, spreading your butt cheeks is very funny, and Gluis Armstrong is very funny. That's my idea. What do you think, Jesse?
I'm 7 train all the way.
You're 7 train all the way.
So it's come down
I wanted to see.
Yeah.
If you vote for one of those, the ones I'm going with, or the 7 train, that's going to be the winner.
Okay, I know we've been going on a little bit. Can you do me a favor? Can you just read them all once?
Yeah.
And I'll make a call.
I'm just going to read the ones.
Yeah, the ones that we have left.
Okay. I yelled ice on the 7 train because I wanted a seat.
Contender.
Benny spreads his butt cheeks and rollerblades backwards.
Contender.
Or treat my piece like a trumpet, call me Louis Armstrong.
Let's get rid of Louis Armstrong.
Okay.
Sorry.
Between Benny spreads his butt cheeks and rollerblades backwards, or I yelled ice on the 7 train because I wanted a seat.
I'm going to go with ice.
All right.
I'm going to go with ice. Yeah, I'm going to go with ice.
All right. Congratulations. Go to historyhyenasisback.com. See your name up in lights. I yelled ice on the 7 train because I wanted to see you're our winner. Also, check out our stand-up dates up there at historyhyenasisback.com. Yanni, you on the road at all?
I am, I got a date. Stanford coming up, Montana, and that's it probably for the summer, but more dates will be announced.
More dates are coming announced. For me, the end of May, we got Washington, D.C., Durham, North Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, and then in June we're coming to New Mexico, we're coming to California, and we're coming to Denver and Kansas City, and then go check it out, chrisdcomedy.com, Madison Square Garden, the theater at Madison Square Garden, September 11th, and then the Wilbur Theater and the Chevalier have been added in Boston for October.
Go see Chrissy. I forgot to say the big news. My special will be coming out in May. It's either going to be Netflix or YouTube, probably YouTube, but just get ready. Want to get the word out there now and start it. So the special is coming. It's what it is.